We worked really well together. There were no egos.
The team just like...
But we had never really done anything together yet. We didn't even know what it was going to sound like.
I'm Ingrid Michaelson.
My name is Gabriel Mann.
My name is Ariza, and we scored the music for
Tiny Beautiful Things.
Should I look at you or?
I was forced into music. My parents put me in piano lessons when I was 4. I said to my parents when they wanted to put me in lessons, "You can put me in front of a piano, but I won't play." But I did play it, and I took lessons for 10 years.
I'm from San Antonio. I played piano as a kid. I went to school not for music, I was pre-med. When I was a junior, I bailed. Then I called my parents. They were like, "Well, we don't know why you were pre-med in the first place."
There was music where I grew up everywhere. My dad had like rows and rows of vinyls. I played piano from when I was like 4 to 7, and then at 11 my parents gave me a guitar and it changed my life. I did everything that I could to go from Colombia to be able to like go to Berklee College of Music. I love music. There's something truly magical about it. It's almost like alchemy.
I have never scored anything in my life. When they approached me, it was like, are you sure you called the right person? Liz Tigalar said, "I want your voice. I want you. And we can find people who can work with you." That's what we did. I have an amazing friend and producer, Ariza.
Ingrid is the absolute culprit. I had been working on her album, and we kind of have this like almost like kindred siblingship in music.
Their side brought on Gabriel Mann, who's a veteran in the scoring TV world.
In our initial conversations, I don't think anyone really knew what it was going to sound like.
And the three of us together, we became this little machine. We each knew what our role was. It was really that simple.
I've never really collaborated in this way before on anything. It's like 3 people making a thing together, and was exciting but scary.
We were all in different cities.
Ingrid was in Chicago at the time, Gabe was in LA, and I was in New York.
Like Ingrid would send ideas that were on whatever primitive gear she had in her hotel room.
I would watch the scenes and sit at the piano, and I would record it on my phone, and I just would play.
She would like send themes as soon as she had a second, and then I put it to picture, and Gabe and I would be like, okay, maybe let's take this out and put this in.
And we would sort of go back and forth, the 2 of us a little bit. Once we felt like we were in a good spot, we would send it back to Ingrid.
I would come in and say, wait, I want my vocals there, not there, and allowing each of us to have our space and our time and our own process.
The ability to go back and forth with each other, you keep getting a crack at the same piece of music. That was like a wonderful and interesting way to work.
The show centers around a woman who's lost her mother at a young age. I lost my mom in my 30s. I know that's why Liz asked me. Many of the scenes were very difficult for me. To be able to take my own grief and create something beautiful that might help other people, it's kind of priceless.
Claire is the way into the show. She's like extremely volatile, but she's also a poet. So like you have to balance this sort of like volatility and like drama with this transcendent beauty of the way that she thinks about the world.
What does it mean to heal, to move on, to let go?
I think it's so tonally interesting, and there's so much humor in it, but it's also so emotional. Being able to like bridge that gap and it not feeling too much of either side was like very important. Well, the way I would describe the sound of the Tiny Beautiful Things score is genuine.
Honest, emotional.
There's sadness in it, but it's never without hope.
I feel like we like gave it so much heart.
I believe that the core of it is Ingrid's harmonic and melodic sensibility.
We got to use her vocal as an instrument. And I even ended up making some like sampled instruments out of Ingrid's voice so that I could like recreate themes.
The emotion that's in her comes out in her voice. And when you hear her sing, you hear that emotion.
We didn't want to overuse my voice. The human ear can hear a piano, hear a guitar, hear something, and then when they hear a human voice, it just hits you in a real, visceral way.
I play different things better than Juan does, and Juan plays most things better than I do.
In terms of like the instruments that I used for the score, there's a lot of cello, there's a lot of like samples that I've collected through the years.
There's very many different kinds of pianos. I also would make some sort of like zing sounds, like that kind of a sound. There's also this thing right here, which is from the 1890s. It's called a dulcitone. It's sort of childlike and innocent. When you go back in time and you're seeing Claire as a kid, or when you're dealing with her daughter in the present day, we use it pretty frequently for that kind of stuff.
One of the main protagonists musically of it is this like 70s guitar. It's a very distinct sound. It can feel very emotional.
And I just love that sound. You can almost hear the wood of the instrument, and you can hear his fingers against the strings, and it's just a really earthy sound. It's all over. And I would say that really was the glue. I think my favorite cue is the last one in the whole show. There was this beautiful piece that we had written for episode 5. They had brilliantly re-engineered it, took the different stems, meaning like the violin part, the cello part, the piano, and manufactured this beautiful thing out of what we did, and everybody loved it, and everyone's crying.
And I remember sitting with Ingrid, and Ingrid being like, I think we can't beat that. She came back with this amazing theme.
And I sent it to Ariza and Gabe, and I was like, this is what I want, you guys. Gabe added these long pauses where there was just violins being held. Ariza came in and he started adding things.
To be like, okay, there's something there and it works and everyone's happy, but how do we like really get it over the finish line?
Nobody was expecting it from us. It was done. And we were like, well, is it?
I just think it worked out so well. I couldn't believe how well it worked out. Every time we would finish something, I'm like, I don't know how we made this.
What I'll take moving forward is how much I continue loving collaboration, the best parts of everyone coming together and doing my best to give my best to others.
I could have never done it without them, obviously, for so many reasons. The respect that they gave me was really lovely.